Can we start the video in it, Dan? Kisses. Okay. So, originally thought, how's he very bad? We're all good today. I don't think it's many of us today. So, basically, I thought it was the end of the month, but we've got another Tuesday this month. So, our special Tuesday will be next week. I had a request from Adam. Basically, we did this weird kick last night, and he was like, "Sarah, what stretches would you recommend to help with this weird kick?" So I really had to think. But one of the things that I'm a big fan of recently is this idea of, it's called loaded mobility. Basically, is weight training for people who want to get flexible. So again, if you start using the weight, it's too much for you. If there's exercise you don't feel comfortable doing, that's fine. But one of the things, especially because we're all martial artists, is we want to lengthen but also strengthen. That weight's too much for you. Okay? So again, this warm-up will just involve the weight. Do the weight if you want, but if it's too much for you, just take it to the side. Okay? So the first exercise we're going to do is plie squat. Now you're going to be tempted to connect the bottom of the kettlebell to the floor. Try and keep your shoulders back and keep your back straight. Okay? So we're just going to do 10. Okay? Ready? Going down and up. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Start to go deeper for the last 3. 8, 9, and 10. Fantastic. Now take the kettlebell in one hand and you turn one foot out. Now your one hand, like I think it's actually called windmills. Take your one hand down, look up at your hand, and then reach back up. Okay, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If that's going well and you feel the stretch, just give you a slight variation. It does take a bit of shoulder strength, so maybe to make the exercise harder, you put the kettlebell up, and now you need to drive your hand all the way to the floor or as far as you go back up, so it makes it a lot harder. Okay, so don't have to do that one. Say it as an example. So we got 6, 7, 8. Feel that out the hip working. 9 and 10. Fantastic exercise. So again, do 5 here and then 5 up top, but you pick your one you like. Okay, you go to the side. Okay. 1. Try and stand all the way up in between. 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm just going to switch it. 6, 7, 8, 9. Yeah, the balance will go. 10. Fantastic. Okay. Now I'll show you 2 options. This one, depending on how heavy you find your kettlebell. One will be, we're going to take 10 lunges to the side. So one looks like this. I step out and lunge down, again, trying to keep my shoulders back. Or you could hold it in the opposite hand and just bring across. Doesn't really make much of a difference, just your personal preference. Okay, so we're going to take 10 steps this way, 10 steps that way. Okay, let's have a go. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Fantastic. Put the other hand, if you have it in one hand, going off to the other side. Ready? 1, 2, 3, 5. So bring it all the way to your foot. 6. Makes a big difference. 7. 8. 9. 10. Now this might be one that you want to do. If you've got the best balance, this might be one that you want to do without the kettlebell. But basically, again, I'm just going to tip forward and then raise up. Okay? So we're going to do 10 on one leg, 10 on the other. If you find that your balance isn't the best, you can do it without. Okay? So literally tip forward and then bring the kettlebell up and lift your knee. The knee bit is hard for you. Miss it out. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. That was tough. Okay, other side. Forward. 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. 6. 7. 8. 9. 10. Yep. Now this exercise, I only learned it yesterday, and I couldn't believe how tough it was. Okay, again, this might be one you do without the kettlebell. So show from the side. Basically, go back into a lunge. Don't let the kettlebell come out the floor. Straighten your leg, bend. Straighten your leg, bend, and then back up. We're only going to do 5 of them because they're so tough. Okay. So we go. So hold it. Same hand. The leg that's holding it on, that's the leg that stays still. The other leg goes back. So go back as far as you can in the lunge. And try and tip forward over your leg. Bend, tip forward over your leg, and then stand back up. That's 1. 2. 3. 4. 5. To the side. Bridge. Going back. Straightening. Bending. And number 2. 3. 4. 1. Now 5. Now put your weight down. Have your blocks nearby. So it's a great way of giving your hips and things sort of way of warming up in the cold weather. So basically, and from yoga's perspective, these are the stretches I work on to do those hand plant kicks, yeah? So the height of your block should be so you feel on balance. In the kick we did, it was sort of like we kick and we put our hand on the floor, and that's like this motion, the half moon. Okay, so that's what we're going to work on. So take your legs as wide as you feel comfortable, and your blocks either side. So I'm going to turn one foot out. Okay, I'm going to come over and bring the arm up. Twist, try and keep your back over the floor, push your feet into the floor. You come up, tip backwards. And come up, switch to the other side. So, again, tip forward. Tip back. Okay, this time I'm going to go back over. This time I'm going to put my block on the inside. It will be highest, middle, or lowest, or if you're very flexible, not at all. Come down, put the hand here. Look up at that hand. So, and you're tipping forward. So bring the block up on this. So you can bring our shoulder back. Feel the difference? Bending that knee more. There. That's the difference. So again, this is about not forcing. Same because you tip it forward a bit. So bring the block up to another setting. Now bring our shoulder back. There we go. Far better. Now try and keep the knee bent and tip up. So the muscle you used to bring yourself back up, that's the muscle we're trying to work. And then tip backwards. Now this time we're going to straighten the leg. Try and come forward into a triangle pose with your hand on the block. And same thing. If you feel your shoulder coming forward, bring the block up. So the shoulder must be back. So there, see how you can't push your hand into it? So Rob, bring that block up. And push your whole hand into it and then twist. And look up at that hand. Fantastic. That's far better for you. Okay. Come the other side. If the problem is our competitive side of martial arts, doesn't really work for yoga. You're not being honest with yourself. If you're not honest with yourself, you won't do the pose properly. So the easiest trick is, am I breathing normally? If no, back off from the stretch. Okay? Bring it down to the floor. You'll be able to get the shoulder perfectly back and breathe. Into the nose and out. Okay, see if you can bend your knee a bit more. That's it. Once you've got the position, you bend your knee a bit more, relax more. This is much better. Okay, now try and keep your knee as bent as it is, and then use your core to tip up. Now, put this one in. And straighten the front leg. And then come forward and try and lift it. That's it. Just lift the block up, and that's it. So you can push onto it. Okay, come up. I'm going to move my block behind my leg. Again, put it on a suitable setting. Bend that knee again. Okay. Tip forward, put my hand on the outside. Bend that knee bend a little bit more. Now hand on the hip. Slide the block and foot forward, bring the back leg in. Up flat. What's hard for me is to be able to do this pose and look at you guys. So I might go to the highest one if I was you. And try and pull that shoulder back. That's it. Okay, I know it's hard. Now what we're going to do, pick up your block with you and come back into your deepest triangle pose. So come back and triangle. Yeah, come on. Let's go to the other side. Yourself set up. Your legs might feel like they can actually go wider now, so you can stretch them for a little bit. Okay. So again, tip the hand on the outside. Make sure that shoulder's back. That knee will bend a little bit more. Okay, put the hand on the hip. Walk your block forward. Leg in and tip up. Fantastic, Rob. Excellent, Andrew. Just breathe. Try and breathe naturally. Now, as smooth as you can, tip back into your deepest triangle pose. And then tip up. So that is the first one. That's the one you need to be able to do first. What I'm going to introduce you to now, the twisted ones. And just to say a quick story. When I started the yoga, I thought I was fairly flexible for a guy. I thought for a guy I was flexible. What I didn't realize is I was dexterous, I could kick, but I wasn't flexible. Because when we started doing these twisted poses, I had an absolute nightmare. Okay? So this is what I would do for everyone. Watch me first, because when you start twisting, you won't be able to see me. So I'm going to be here, and this time I'm going to bend down. Let me show you into this twisted triangle. It's not twisted triangle, twisted here, and then my hand's going to come here and here. So they're the poses we're going to do. Because you're going to be turning away from me, I'm just showing you now because you won't be able to see me. Okay? So the foot's here, and unlike the last one, the foot's turned over. Bend the knee. Take the arms forward, twisted. Breathe in as you go further. When your hand going up further, breathe out and twist. Good. Come on. Switch over to the other side. Same thing. Turn. Arms the opposite way. Breathe in. Can't go further, the elbow to the outside. Twist. Enough. Now, we're going to go this side. We're going to reach and put your hand onto the block and twist. Now, don't try and twist from your neck. Try and twist from your whole spine. Now very slowly start to straighten your leg. Feel that intensity. Good. Bend the knee, come up, good side. So again. Inside. Reach forward, put the hand on the block, with the knee bent, twist. Now start to straighten the leg. Okay, good. So size. So if that was actually excruciating for you, stay there. Where it gets difficult is where you put the block in line with your foot or on the outside of your foot. This makes sense because that's a real twist thing. Okay. Again, bend the knee. Put your hand down. You might just be able to put your hand on your hip. It's a good place to start to Only if you can raise your arm, which I can barely do, raise your arm. In your own time, start stripping. Feel that in your every hip work. Now I'm going to put the hand back on the hip, bend the front knee, bring the back leg in, take the block forward, and try if you can come up on one leg. Now most of you will simply just stay there. You'll know when you're improving, you'll be able to twist your core, maybe lift up your hand. That's incredibly hard. And just for a tester, leave the block where it is, come back and see if you can do twisted triangle pose. We're not usually do this. So that's one definitely a tester. And then you come over the other side. So where were we? So block by here, in line with the foot, or on the outside of the foot. Reach, put the hand down. Again, my advice is to put your hand on your hip. You start to twist. Keep the leg up. And when you're ready, start straighten the leg. Put the hand on the hip, bend the knee, walk the back leg in, take the block a foot forward, and come up on one leg if you can. Feeling on balance, start to breathe. Twist your torso. And if you feel it, lift the hand up. Now, leave the block and come back into your deepest twisted triangle pose. And come up. Fantastic. Okay. I know. So sit on the floor. So some seated stretches. Okay. Again, sit on the block. If you find you can't sit up. Okay. So basically, I'm going to just take you through a little like sort of 10-minute, like all hips included type thing. Our hips are just so stiff, we don't even really know where to start. So the important thing is to get into like a little routine, like weightlifters go like chest, shoulders, back, arms, yeah? This is the same with your hips. Don't just think one hip stretch will fix everything, okay? So the stretch today, just start to point and bend your toes, nice and gentle. Sit it, and all the time try and breathe and sit up. And push the hands behind, but you're trying to push forward. So pushing your shoulders and your chest forward, not your neck, okay? So breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out, breathe in, breathe out. Now, you're going to put one hand forward, one hand back. As I do that, I'm going to rotate my hips towards that open side. So turn my toes out. And then bring your hands over to the other side and turn your toes out as far as they'll go. Okay? Now, when you do this, you can push down with your hands and lift your hips up. Okay? So up to you. Now, just turn your foot like I did in the first example, or you're going to lift your hips up to turn. Just going to do 2 more. Good. Bring your legs in. One through my breath. Get a butterfly. From here, what I'm going to do is walk your feet slightly forward so you take the pressure. Grab on the front of the ankles and same thing, breathing in and out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. Now, this is the one that people miss out, is the sitting squat. So when you come onto your feet, I'm just going to show you a little variation I don't usually say. If you have trouble sitting down, I'm only doing this because everyone here has a block. Sit on your block. Make sense? You do it without the block, that's fine. So your feet a little bit wider, Adam, out the hips. Point your toes out. A little bit wider, Jerry. That's it, good. Now, if that's okay for you, go, oh, where is it? Go to the lower one. Just sit like this. It's a sitting stretch, so your hips are working, but you're slightly supported. Okay, and then eventually, you don't need it at all. So all we're going to do is go from this prayer position wherever you are, either pray or knuckles. Okay, let's go for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Come out of that. Sit down. It's easy out the hips, the TLC after all that. So come across, squeeze in. So if you look at that routine again, it was opening up the hips, 2 variations, straight leg straddle or butterfly. And then it was the squat, which is the one that people miss out. And now it's the out the hips. So little variation here. Bring your leg behind and sit on your block. Be any setting you like. So just to help out with people with stiff hips. Now, this might be as far as your leg can go. If you can push this knee across and then fold over it. Come up, sit down, put it aside. So if this is fine feeling like my hips absolutely killing just by there, stay there or back off. If you can just rock this foot over a bit and stack these knees on top of each other, like a double-decker burger. Step it forward. Let's go through another quick round of that, just to go through it again, show you some other variations, okay? So go back into your straddle, see if you can go further this time. That's always a good thing. Okay, and what we're going to do, instead of going side to side, keep your toes going as far back as you can, and literally with your opposite hand, try and reach for your knee. You might not be able to get that far, but your hand just here. But I want you to try and twist and twist, okay? So you're just going to go back and forth, 10 of those. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then see how far forward you can go. Maybe you've got your block on higher setting here. Maybe you've got it here. Maybe you've got it here. Maybe you don't need it. Maybe you can rest your head. Okay, wherever you are. But this is a good way of measuring. Okay, bring it in. Okay. Okay, let's do another butterfly page. Okay, what you're going to do now is you use your hands to tip yourself forward. You might not be able to do this just yet, but literally you just push into your hands and try and squeeze basically your backside to your heels. Okay, so we're just going to do 5 of those. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, and then we're going to go back into the squat. Okay, so get yourself into the squat. Now, this one's a little bit of fun. You use your hands. Actually, you're going to tip forward, using your elbows to take your knees further apart. And you can just lean the weight into it and spring back. Or, I know Andrea likes her inversions. You can come onto your hands and just take one toe off, or 2 toes off, or both toes up for a little bit of balancing. Okay? But the main thing is you're trying to open up our hips. So we've got 3, 4, 5, 6. This is a scary one, Judy. You might want to press skip. 7. It's fine, but can you press skip? Do you know how to do that? There's instructions in Japanese on the site. 10. There we go. We'll do one more hip. Okay. So go into your 90-90 pigeon. Okay, so there should be 3 buttons on the left. The middle one's play pause, and there should be skip either way. Okay. And then rock forward. Again, use your blocks if you want to rest on something. Okay, now from here, sweep this leg around to do something called a double pigeon or fire lock. I'm never sure which name I like better. And again, you can put one of your blocks between your leg and your knee. Sit like this. It's okay for you. You're okay to sit forward. You can start to walk forward. And again, use that block. Okay, now watch. Leave that leg forward. Take the other leg back. So you're pitching on the other side then. And then sweep your leg round. Go into fire lock. Okay, come on. So what we're going to do is tell you a quick story. When we were in the last lockdown, I was desperate to do any training I could. So my friend who was there on Saturday at the tournament, Oliver, he's a martial artist, but he's also a dance instructor and does a lot of dancing. So he's come up with a hybrid of martial arts and dancing. He's done Kung Fu since he was a kid, and he's been over to China and practiced Shaolin Kung Fu. He's also done some kickboxing. So he knows a lot of different martial arts he's incorporated with dance. He invited me along to this class, and I went, I'll give it a go. It was so hard. I found it so difficult, and it just kicked my ass 12 hours a Sunday. But they could move in a way I couldn't move. And I was like, if I could, if I could move like them, it would make my martial arts better. So what we're going to do now, and we're going to do some moves. And I wouldn't have done this if we didn't all have the yoga block because the pad is too low. But what you're going to do now is stand up and put the block down. Now, just remember that the block is not a fixed thing. So as you put your hand on it, it might fall away from you. Just putting that out there, okay? But basically, your problem is putting your hand on the floor, okay? So like we're just using the block now, you use the block here. I'm going to start very simple. Basically, I'm standing in line with the block. I want to tip forward and like be pretty confident I can put my hand on that block, okay? So, yeah, so we did that. Now, watch this foot. This foot is going to come around here. I'm going to bring the other leg around and then I go the other way. So let me show you from the side. So I start off lifting my leg a little bit up. From here, and the other way. Yeah, does that make sense? Okay. So eventually, you just go back and forth. The idea is you're trying to lift your leg higher. So then I lift my leg like maybe medium height. Yeah, lift my leg medium height. That's it, huh? Good. So all I gotta do is just set the timer for 30 seconds, okay? So 30 seconds, higher and higher. If it's easy for you, take away the block. But I know I'm having trouble with that, so that's why I want to put the block in. Okay, so go for it. Then wrap the other leg round, so you're facing it from the other. So Kirsty, now bring your right leg back. And so you're facing the door now, put your left hand down on the block and lift your right leg across. That's it. That's it, Rob. Good. That's it, Jeff? Yes. Did it, Anne? You're doing it. You're doing it, Peter. You're doing it. Just go faster. Yes, that's a roundhouse. That's a hand plant roundhouse. So let me just show you. The problem is, again, I was talking to some of the boys who just at private. The problem is, in class, I have to move quick. So I'm worried that everyone's getting bored, everyone's getting cold. But really, you need this much break, you need 45 minutes to break it down. Yeah, we'll do the one on the diagonal. Okay. So we were doing this hand plant roundhouse. So it's a roundhouse here, so you take your leg all the way through. So all I did, as I kicked, I put my hand on the floor and kicked. But probably out of you were thinking about the kick and not putting your hand on the floor. What you got to realize is you already know how to do the kick. Just putting a hand on the floor is the fine. Okay. So we're going to do the same thing now, just one more, with the spinning hook kick. This one's slightly more difficult, because you have to spin away from the target. So basically, I've got to work this out as well, because I'm not used to the block. Put the block in between your legs, okay? About like a triangle. It's actually called a compass kick. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this hand down, my back leg comes around, and then I'll be here. And if I go the other way, let's have a look now. I've got to work this out myself. This leg comes round here. It's slightly harder, but instead of bringing your leg forward, you bring it backwards. Okay? I'll do it for the side so you can help. So keep the pad in. Once it's in the middle, you can go either way. But your leg is going to sweep backwards, or your leg's going to sweep backwards. As you sweep that leg backwards, so if I sweep my right leg back, my left hand will go on the pad. Bring it back. If I sweep my left leg back, my right hand will come down on the block. Does that make sense? So that's forwards, so you want to swing it backwards. Yes, so just watch the wall. Just check on everyone. That's it, Kirsty. Fantastic. Reset, go the other way. That's it, Adam. Yes, and you did a 360. That's it, Andrew. Yes, Rob. So last night I only just showed Rob hook kick, and I'm showing him the hand button hook kick. Yeah. That's it, Adam. You got it. So what the kick looks like, just to show you. So that's a hook kick, or spinning hook kick. All you do is, as I make contact with like my imaginary opponent in front of me, I just put this hand, front hand on the floor. And I put my hood up. Plan that and everything. Practice 60 times to do that. Okay. Spin backwards. So if your right leg back, you can put your left hand on the floor as you spin backwards. That's it. That was it. Yeah. So there we go. We did some stretches, got warmer. Now you can do it. Fantastic. But again, these blocks are great. I might force everyone who's coming to stretching class, like suppose you have pads, everyone's got to have a yoga block because we can do more. Sometimes when I'm looking around and people have got pads and like, it's not really high enough, but height there is great. So use all training tools. It's like my yoga instructor says, like if you can't do the half moon like this, get a chair. Just so you can do it, yeah? Just use whatever equipment you need to do it properly. I'm going to do something a bit different to finish. Adam, can you just go over the wall and check the music off for a second? Put Adam on the spot now. Adam, come on to the front of the video, just to chat over. Adam was at the tournament on the weekend, as most of you know. But you tell me, man. Tell me what you won.
So I won first in sparring, third in wetlands, and third in forms.
What is the best? You've been in like 4 tournaments before?
Yeah.
What's the best result you've ever had before?
That was the best first in sparring.
Yeah.
Because I've become into stretching classes. Really.
But before that, you never got a first in sparring?
Once, but I was just in a disqualification.
Oh, someone kicked you. Someone kicked you in the face. Yeah, yes, it was technically yours. That's right. But yeah, so again, like you might know I'll train with Adam, but I've seen a huge change in Adam. So just talk about how the stretching has helped you out over the last like 6 months or however long you've been doing it.
It's just higher kicks, really. Just the confidence to do more kicks as well. And yeah, the opponents, well, Ryan and Hamza weren't really expecting those kind of kicks.
But also, again, it's just from my perspective as well, is when people are inflexible, their movement's awkward. Do you feel like you're moving faster and easier? Yeah. Yeah, it's fine. Like, all I wanted was an advert for the stretching class, because I've been telling everyone to come to the stretching class. And Adam now is like my winner, because he's a guy who, no offense, Adam, but before we did it, I was like, Adam will never be able to do head kicks. And then we did a kicking session a couple of weeks back, and I was like, I honestly couldn't believe we were doing it. I was like, is this the same guy? So it was really cool. So there we go. So for all of you who, if you were doing kicks in class, you find it difficult, like Adam requested, like again, I want you to make these sessions beneficial for you guys. So if I can, like again, I wasn't expecting to be able to do that. Last night we had a real problem with it. So I'm really pleased that we got it in one session. I'm like, oh, that was easier than I thought. That's brilliant. Yeah, thank you, Adam. That's awesome. Thank you. So there we go, guys. So like I say, I'll tell you a story because it's still making me laugh in my head that and some of the other girls have asked for a fight club. Yeah. Really, from my opinion, the fighting is great, don't get me wrong. But everyone in this class would benefit from being stronger, fitter, and more flexible. Fighting, you find something, if you're faster than everyone, if you're stronger than everyone, and you know, if you're faster than everyone, like, all those things, all the techniques will just happen quicker. So again, stretching usually my answer to most things. Okay, cheers guys. Thank you very much. Awesome. Brilliant.